Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zod. Anyways, man, I'm gonna try to make this video as quick as possible, mostly due to the fact that the camera is on low battery, but I also just want to make this point. And let me just start off by saying this. If you quote anything from a known PC channel, I don't care what race you are, if you quote anything from a PC, that's an automatic unfollow. Like, I won't even entertain your videos no more, just due to the fact that you know, which pretty much everybody knows who's no good on YouTube, regardless of whether people want to acknowledge the fact or anything. I'm not sending no views to no PC's channel. I'm not giving no shots to no PC's channel. I'm not even trying to mention a PC's channel, but I notice a lot of channels on here tend to do that. I don't know if it's a pandering thing. I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, it comes off desperate. And that's no shot at nobody, because I know when it comes to other people, as far as other cars, like, they tend to do what they want, but at some point it's just kind of like, man, just like follow suit. If you know the channel's no good, why even entertain it? And I'm not relying on them for any type of resources or any type of news, nothing. Like, if it's something that they're speaking about, I'm not gonna go and jump on the bandwagon and try to talk about the same thing they do in order to get views. And it's been proven. Like, if you watch my channel, there's a lot of things I just don't speak about because it don't really make nothing. I know it's more gossip and people are rushing to put out the content because they're trying to make content, but at some point it's just like, there's some things that you should just refrain from speaking on. But let me just get into two different things real quick. First and foremost, if you notice, I've took a time to talk about this dude, Tory Lanez. I spoke in another video and said allegedly he was getting extorted and that he was speaking ill on the homies. But then when I found out where he was at, I was kind of like, you know, it's not even giving anybody the benefit of the doubt. Like, I get where he's at, so there was really no need to speak on him ever again. Now, in this case where he got hit, and the fact that he only got hit by what you would consider a Mexicano, only one, for one, if it was that type of program and it was like on a yard that's just a lot different, which I'm not gonna go into that, it would have been a few people, and then just in situations like this, not gonna be just one person. That's for a fact, because anybody can get the knife taken from. So if anything, it's gonna be 2 or 3 people running at you. That's a fact. So in this situation, I chose not to even really speak on it because it already smells fishy. I already know the situation. It has to be a spot that's no good, and I'm not gonna quote anybody else's video because I don't really pay attention. Now, that's a Tory Lanez thing. Now, another one is, I was, usually I watch different people's videos, but the dude Hoodie, no disrespect to you, dog, but you had made a video talking about black Southsiders, and it was funny because you had a look on your face the whole time, which was like almost like disgusted. But I thought about it, I said, man, that can't be the case, because why would it affect you? Now, like I said, I'm going to try to be as respectful as possible. Not because I'm really worried about anybody else, because obviously I'm Zod and I ain't worried about nobody. But just respectful, because that's how you tend to come off. So I'm going to keep that same energy. Now, when I watched your video, I noticed you did like a lot of other people did. And you continue to reiterate the fact that we can't become nothing. For one, there's a lot of things about these politics that you know absolutely nothing about, and the fact that people can become anything, it's a different type of process. But I'm gonna just leave it like that. Has there ever been anybody close? Trust me, we're just gonna leave it like that. There's so much things about the internet that people think they know about the car, and I get it. Like, it's from what you see, so you automatically make assumptions, but you don't know the story behind a lot of things. And the fact that there has been people that I know that look just like me running whole prison yards, and not just prison yards, running all the facilities of that prison yard, from this yard to this yard to this yard, and have it all. And I ain't even gonna go into name, because the people from Los Angeles know who they are. People know about the names because Los Angeles is a whole different construct within itself. I can't really speak on other, different spots. I can't speak on Dago, even though I know a lot of people from out there, but I can't speak on their politics because that's their politics. I ain't gonna speak about Los Angeles because we just don't talk about a lot of things, but a lot of things that goes on with LA County, I know about, and it's just from being around as long as I have. Now, like I said, you know, for people that don't necessarily know, hold on, let me try to adjust this volume. For those who don't, you know, like, I get it, and you know, it's nothing that could really be said about that. Like, I don't go out of my way to speak on other cars because it doesn't really make me any difference on what they do. Like, I'm not gonna speak on the Crips because the Crips have done nothing to me. I'm not going to speak about their politics because it does nothing for me. I'm not going to get on the internet and assume to know anything about the Crips outside of my immediate interaction. And most of the time, and this is what I find funny, because most of the dudes that are either Crips or Bloods that have had some kind of dealing with homies don't know our politics. You don't know our get down. You hear something that may have came from one homie that tell you a little tidbit about something, but usually you don't know nothing about our politics. So even assuming to know what the big homies and how they're recruited and anything of that nature, or whether any blacks can ever become, you probably listen to one fool that don't know nothing about nothing, because they really did their history. They would know a few people that was, you know, but with that being said, dude, like I said, I'm gonna keep it respectful because it ain't really no issue. Like, to me, I find most people that speak about this shit comical because once you start hearing people talk about it, you know off the back they don't really know too much about it. Like, and they don't know too much about it. Like I said, the history of us and even the 1950s, it goes, the homies go back further than that. Like, that number was false. They go back, you going into the 20s. Like, but I digress because I get it. Like, a lot of people that come from these other parts of California don't really know what's up. Like, and especially somebody that's not a homie. You're only gonna know certain things. You're never gonna know the full thing, even the way the mentalities are. But with that being said, man, look, I'll say this because I tend to have to say it a million times to multiple people that cover the whole Black Southsider thing. And we just don't care, dog. We don't care about being a big homie. To be honest, we don't really care. We never really focus on that. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some fools that look like me that had somewhat of an ambition to be somebody that was notable. But at the end of the day, especially, you know, it's not, there's a lot of us, but not as many as you would think. So anything that we do on a certain scale, it's gonna stand out, and it's like anything. We can expect our reputation to carry through the millennial, because there's a lot of Crips and Bloods that their reputation in their age thing was stellar, and people knew what they were about. But once you start getting into like a little bit, your reputation starts falling off significantly, and it's one of those things that's kind of like, but you start to notice a significant drop off in reputation. It doesn't, like, that's why I trip off, like, when people like to, you know, bring up the whole rep thing, and as far as like how far Southerners that are black can go. In the scheme of things, and I know, like I said, there's no disrespect to nobody, but in the scheme of things, what does it really matter? How far we go in a you know, as far as like on a political platform. Some of us are just happy running a yard. Some of us are happy just being acknowledged. And it ain't like we're looking for approval. It's just when people, you know you, and they speak of some of your exploits in a way that's not telling about your crime, but they know that you're willing to handle your business any given Sunday, that's a good thing for us. We ain't looking for no pat on the back, but it's good to know. And people that like to try to assume that that's bad in some way, or they try to make it as if it's bad. It's many Bloods and Crips that I've ran into that the first thing they talk about is their homeboy that's known for putting in work here, known for putting in work. It's his exploits that make them respect him. It ain't nothing else. It's his exploits. And that's why you have some dudes that are from certain neighborhoods that their homies don't have absolutely no respect from. They'll give them theirs because they're older, but I'm one of those dudes that it doesn't come down to that with my homeboys. My homeboys respect me because they know that even though I'm at the age that I am right now, what I've did in the past, as far as like outwardly stepping them up, is I'm not just known for these. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I was doing in the street, and unfortunately, a couple of times I went to jail for them. But the point of the matter, reputation means absolutely nothing, and that's not what we're going for. I mean, we're not going for reputation, we're going for respect. As long as we're respected, we're happy with that. A lot of us are from these different neighborhoods because it's a loyalty thing. We started off with you, we gonna end with you. Now, as far as doing some type of disservice to the black community, would be it's once again like that other dude. It's hypocritical because in the scheme of things, when you was out there putting in work, if you know what I mean, I say if because there's a lot of dudes that you know that are Bloods and Crips that they have no reputation at all. Like they're not known for being stumped down. They're not known for stepping on nothing. Yeah, they get in a couple of fights. You know, they may dog walk somebody, maybe get in a fight, knock somebody out, but that's really nothing in the scheme of things because that's a part of gangbanging. But there's a lot of fools right now living off no reputation. They're on the internet, they're talking about certain things. That's why I say in the scheme of things, reputation doesn't really make a lot of fools on the internet talking about all types of stuff, but I don't hear nothing really about them. I've heard nothing outside of, oh, they're a stand-up dude, but I've never heard anything about them stepping on anything. Like I see a lot of fools, they come out of left field and they always got something to say about the car, but they have no reputation in their own hood. They have a couple of older dudes or fools that grew up around that try to embellish, but at the end of the day, there's no proof in the pudding. There's no real evidence that they were the guy that they keep speaking about. But I don't go on the internet and talk about them because I don't care, dude. Like, and this is the thing I like to point out the most. I don't care about Blood or Crip business. My family, that's different, but I don't go out of my way to talk about Blood and Crip business because I don't care. Now, if it's something on social media as far as, you know, a snitching, I don't even try to do too much. I'll be like, okay, these dudes are telling and that's it, but I don't try to go into their background and be like, oh yeah, this dude never was from here, and you know, from what I've heard from his homeboys, he never got put on. I don't do all that. To me, that's a little bit too much. Like, I'll talk about my homies if are fools that used to be my homies as far as like that were with the car and it's no good right now, but I won't go too deep into that. I'm not gonna go, oh well, they folded over here and they did this, because that you might as well be telling. I don't do all that. So like I said, no disrespect to you or anybody else that like to cover the topics of black Southsiders, but what does it really matter to any of you? Like, and like I said, if you know, these other dudes that are just like, you know, they're just pro-black and they'll have nothing to do with gangs, never been about the gangs, I can expect them to come on it because they're not going to understand it. They're not going to really necessarily see eye to eye because it's something that's beyond their pay grade. I'll say it that way, even though that's like saying in a way that don't really make sense to a lot of people, but some people are gonna get it, meaning that it doesn't matter to me. Like, I'll say it in a different way. I should have said it different, but it doesn't really matter. It's none of their business why we chose to run south and we're black. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I say that about every car. It don't matter, Blood, Crip, white, whatever. It's none of anybody's business why we run. If people are not outwardly or you know, actively going out searching to get into it with black homies, what's the use of being so inquisitive about it? And it's one thing to be inquisitive, like, you know, you're asking why, but you're actually talking to somebody, that's different. But when people make whole videos about us and it's just like it's I know why it's did. It's for the clicks, because if I put black Souths in the videos, it's gonna get clicks. People want to hear it, because some people still, even to this day, don't know too much about us, even though there's a lot of us. There's nothing new about what Zod does as far as like the internet. That's different. Knowing what to say and what not to say on the internet, as far as when it comes to our politics, I got that down packed. Maybe being a little controversial towards everybody else, but I don't get into Crip and Blood business. And if you put it on social media, it makes everybody's business, but I still don't delve too deep into it because it don't really matter to me. That's the difference between me and a lot of people. Your business really don't matter to me. I'm not actively focusing on whether you get smoked from here to tomorrow unless I know you. The people that I know that I've been cool with, yeah, something happened, I'm like, man, you know. But if I don't know you, I don't care if your brains get blown out the next day. like I'm not gonna feel nothing about it. That's why, like, when I was in that cage, you getting poked up, I don't feel no type of way about it. Why? Because you gangbang, you got yourself in this predicament, you ended up behind them walls, something cracked, you got poked because you were either slipping or you didn't get to your banger fast enough, or you just didn't have a banger knowing that you should have one. I feel no ways about it. I've clashed with absolutely everybody, every race. I didn't clash with every race, even some that even didn't make no sense why we clash, but still clash. It don't matter. Sometimes we clash with paisas and this and that. It don't matter, dude. Anybody that the homies are having issue with and it's on and cracking, I'm going at, because that's just a part. But that's a part of the program. Some people are not, haven't got to that level yet. They're still fighting against the river or the ocean. You know, they don't want to adhere to certain rules because they don't feel like it's beyond them, but it's just too strenuous for them. That's why, you know, different organizations got different ways of doing things. Now, I didn't kind of went down the rabbit hole. The whole point of the matter is people shouldn't be so worried about whether blacks bang South or whatever, because you got Mexican Crips, you got Mexican Bloods. I don't fault them. At one time, them dudes were they were the main ones getting chopped up because the homies had a different outlook. But now it's like, it's just different. Fools are not tripping on as much. It's like, hey, we got black homies, so why are we tripping on? So, and it's not even that it got watered down. It just made more sense. It's logic. But when I speak of other races that are banging Bloods and Crips, there's no disdain in my voice. There's no, oh, he should around with the homies. That would be weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be weird for me to say that, knowing that I bang the South and been banging the South since 9. So, you know, I don't know. That's all I can really say on that. Like, I know people are going to be inquisitive, but it's good to, like, when you make videos, don't be so biased, dog. Like, don't be so biased. I mean, it's not like any of us are gonna care. It just makes more sense not to be biased. It's like you get more with sugar than you will with salt. You see what I'm saying? Like, some fools that I've ran into that didn't like me just because what I ran, and then later on we end up kicking it and chilling and talking. They see where it's at, then they're like, you know what, I feel it. And like I said in multiple videos, like, I've been around fools that are real OGs, really stumped down, and not them fools, because that's why I say, like, with the internet, there's a lot of fools on the internet that never really did nothing, dude. They're known for robberies or getting busted for selling dope and this and that. Ask any of their homies, hey, is this fool a killer? They'll be like, hell nah, this fool ain't no killer. Like, he got busted over here, or he got like this. That's why I don't really entertain so many people, because they're not known for being stumped down or tearing up nothing. Like, when the energy was towards putting in work and, like, really out there clapping on food, they weren't out there. And people like, oh, well, it's just people don't speak about it. But nah, I've heard more than my share of food like, oh, the homie's a cold killer and blah, blah, blah. You don't hear nothing about that. Like, that's even right now on the social media. Like, fools that be talking reckless and all this, I don't hear nothing in the streets about them being a cold killer. And it's funny because people always send me different videos of different fools. They're like, oh yeah, I know the fool from over here, or I know this. And it's never nothing about fools being, you know, nothing outside of just being from their hood. But that's all I'm gonna really say on that. This video was a little bit too long, but yeah, Hoodie, I like your content, you know what I mean? But it's like, when, you know, I don't know, it's good not to be biased. It doesn't really make or break a channel. It doesn't add nothing to the channel. It doesn't even, most black fools are not even looking at that are homies are looking at you like in any way. They don't take it as disrespect. It's just your opinion. And that's how I take it. It's just your opinion. It just sucks that, you know what I mean? Like, this whole video is made about something that's just irrelevant in the first place. But I'll end off with this. The homies don't really care if they become something or not. As long as their reputation is stellar and fools still respect them, that's all we really care about. We know before we got in the gang exactly what it consists of and what we would be up against, and we still do it. That's what people got to ask yourself. How is it that you do this and knowing you're up against it, but you still able to perform and you still on really out there and get it? Like, people, instead of saying crash outs, they like to say torpedo or somebody that's about his business. They don't say that. It's like, oh, it's full of torpedo. He just does what they say. That right there is just so, like, I don't know, dude. It's outdated. it's outdated. But yeah, that's all I'm really saying. Now I'm your boy Zod. You have the rest of your good day, and I'm gonna go back to doing what I do.